It was one of these weeks. I had to bring Green Man back for the intro. When you see Green Man trying as hard as he possibly can not to be sucked into the hole that is 3 hours of Raw, you know that it was not a great night of Raw. And, SmackDown has been a bore over these last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. At least Raw has been entertaining. At least Raw has kept things interesting. Unfortunately, tonight was not one of those nights. We did, however, in the main event, finally get Finn Bálor, for the first time ever, one-on-one with Gunther, in a match that has been 4 years in the making. We were supposed to get this match 4 years ago in NXT, in Dublin, NXT UK, and then unfortunately the entire world shut down. And we never got the match until tonight. A little bit different because both men are heels. But we did finally get the match tonight, not in front of the right crowd and under the wrong circumstances, because it wasn't even about Finn Bálor against Gunther, right? I mean, that's not really what it's about. It's about Gunther and Damian Priest. Finn Bálor was in there tonight as a device. He was a means to get Damian Priest out there at the very end of the show for the show closing brawl. I was bored by this show. It was a very much a filler episode. I mean, they had a lot of promos on the show tonight, pre-tapes, hyping up the key matches for SummerSlam, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there were a lot of those, and there were a lot of matches that just were very flat. Very flat matches, and you could blame the crowd for it. The crowd was kind of quiet, but it's not just the crowd. I mean, it was just a very flat show. And it just felt like, okay, we're almost there. Saturday's right around the corner and we just got to get there. So let's just, fill up 3 hours as best we can just to get us over the hump to SummerSlam. That's what it felt like tonight. Actually, the most interesting thing about Raw was somebody who was not even on Raw tonight, but he was at Raw, and that was Jesse Ventura. They were in Minnesota tonight for Raw. And so they were in the Twin Cities, and Jesse was in the house. And they did show some brief footage of Jesse Ventura arriving at the building. Triple H was there to greet him, and Jesse was talking his ear off, telling him, I'm sure, all kinds of stories. And I just wish we would have had him sit in for one match on commentary. I was kind of hoping he would get an entrance. Maybe they would introduce him to the crowd, get him to sit in on one match. We didn't get that. You missed it. He had said recently that Vince McMahon leaving the company cleared the way for him to engage in talks with them again about possibly coming back and having a relationship. And I believe what he has, or what he's been in discussions about having, is a Legends deal. So not anything where he would be on TV or have a recurring role or anything like that, but like a Legends type deal. And so that's cool, but man, this show could have used him tonight. I was waiting for Jesse to come out and do anything. The thing with me is I was already looking forward to SummerSlam. I know there were some people who are nonplussed about the card coming up on Saturday. They don't think that the 2 championship matches are the strongest title matches that they could have put together, and they're not. They're not. Seth Rollins against Gunther would have been a much stronger match. Cody Rhodes against Randy Orton would have been a much stronger match. We didn't get either one of those. Even still, though, I think the build to SummerSlam has been good. And the card is such that I am looking forward to it. I was already looking forward to it coming into tonight. This show just did not do anything to get me any more excited for what we're going to see. So, this is your Monday Night Raw review. We are going to talk about it, though. It is July 29th, 2024. I am the Solomonster. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open. If we get enough likes, we will do our Be the Booker segment. We'll kick off the week with some Be the Booker later on, but we'll see how we do on the likes. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. They announced, by the way, for those who may have missed it, they did make mention that the pre-show for SummerSlam on Saturday, they announced no matches, but we are getting a 3-hour pre-show. So unless they add matches at the last minute, no matches, 3-hour pre-show for SummerSlam. Good luck with that. I salute you. I hope you have fun. I will not be watching. This show, though, tonight opened with Seth Rollins coming out to deliver his referee instructions to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in what I believe to be the actual main event, the real main event of SummerSlam on Saturday. And we've been wondering, what Seth is going to wear when he comes out to be the referee on Saturday. What kind of wacky outfit is he going to have? I don't know that this is necessarily going to be exactly the outfit he is going to wear, but we did get a look. We got a little sneak peek. This is what Seth Rollins came out dressed up as tonight. He was out there looking like Beetlejuice. And you can't see it in the photo, but he had zebra print boots on as well. Not as outlandish as I was thinking it might be, but that is very much a Seth Rollins referee outfit. So CM Punk came out next, and then Drew McIntyre came out. They pointed out that they being the announcers, pointed out that this will be Punk's first singles match in a WWE ring in 10.5 years. I pointed that out on the podcast yesterday. His last televised singles match was in January of 2014, and it came against Billy Gunn. That's how long it has been since CM Punk has been in a singles match on TV in WWE. They didn't mention Billy Gunn's name. I didn't think they would, but that's who his opponent was. He did wrestle a couple of matches with Dominic after he came back early at the beginning of the year, but those were not televised. I know he wrestled Dominic in Madison Square Garden. So Rollins said that Adam Pearce ordered Punk and McIntyre tonight not to lay a finger on each other or him. And if they broke those rules, the match on Saturday was off. So no physicality tonight. With that, Punk rolled out of the ring. As soon as he said that no one can put their hands on me, Punk rolled to the outside. McIntyre told Punk to stop being such a coward and get back in the ring. And Punk said that he wasn't worried about what McIntyre or Rollins would do to him. He was worried what he might do to them. So he was just going to stay outside. Rollins said, look, I volunteered to be the referee for this match because you two idiots scared off all the other referees in the back. So I volunteered to be the enforcer here for this match. Rollins said if Punk wants the fight, then he should get his ass back in the ring, and so he did. Rollins said that there will be only one rule for this match. This was the purpose of the segment. The segment was to establish what the referee instructions would be, which is kind of an odd thing to, promote. As far as we know, there's no stipulations for the match, so what could the rules possibly be? So he made it clear here. The only rule for this match, you two will listen to everything that I say. Said, I call the shots, I'm the boss, I'm the law, I count to 3 when I want to count to 3. You tap out only when I say you can tap out. If there's a count out to be had, well, maybe there won't be any count outs. Says, I might count to 10, I might count to 20, I might count to 1,000,000. He also downplayed a possible disqualification, saying that it would be at his discretion. Punk said that he did not want Rollins' help on Saturday. He wanted to make that very clear. I do not want your help, which, of course, why the fuck would Seth Rollins help CM Punk? So I don't think that's going to be an issue. McIntyre interrupted as they were having a tentacle face-off and said, hello, why don't you focus on me? The 6'4", 250-pound guy over here that you've screwed over and over and over again. McIntyre said he hates Punk, said he's like Charles Manson in that he poisons everyone's mind. He said he can't even go to the supermarket without somebody chanting Punk's name at him. McIntyre said he wanted to rough up Punk a little bit in the Royal Rumble match, just a little bit, and he ended up tearing his triceps. He didn't even mean to injure him. He said that he wasn't even trying to. He said that Punk has screwed him out of the title twice since then, at WrestleMania and then in front of his family. And then also, he didn't mention this, but Money in the Bank as well. So he actually screwed him out of the World Championship 3 times this year, not just those 2 times. McIntyre said he wouldn't stop beating Punk until Punk's heart stops. Just kind of extreme. He said the best thing is that the match is being held in a stadium and he will be making a lot of money for something that he would have done for free. Punk said that he was absent from the company for 10 years and the fans chanted his name. That's what he said. The fans, I'm not saying that to say the fans started chanting his name. Punk said that he was gone for a decade, and while he was gone, the people chanted for him. That was a cue for the fans to start chanting for him, and yet it was a very tepid reaction. And this was not the most overly enthusiastic crowd here tonight to begin with, but it was a little bit embarrassing here because you could tell that was their cue to get the CM Punk chants going, and it really was not what you would expect. So Punk said that they chant his name, they sing Seth's song, and McIntyre is the third wheel, basically, in this match. Punk said McIntyre has PDS, Punk Derangement Syndrome. He said the best and worst thing that ever happened to McIntyre was injuring him. Punk said he may not be as tall as him, he may not be as big as him, he may not be as fast as him, but he has heart, and he has the people chanting his name. And this time, the fans took the cue, and they started chanting CM Punk. Punk asked McIntyre what he has. What do you have? Right? I've got heart. What do you have? And McIntyre held up the bracelet that he stole from Punk that has AJ's name and Larry the Dog's name on it. And that pissed off Punk. Punk got right up to his face, but again, no physicality, so he couldn't put his hands on him. And that was it. That was the entire segment. I thought it was effective enough. This was not one of their better segments together. It fell pretty flat, but what they did do here is they established that Rollins is going to call the match his way and probably show a lot of leniency, which means they're going to allow a lot of things in this match that would not be allowed in a regular match. So that tells me they're going to brawl probably in the crowd. They're going to brawl outside the ring. We don't have to worry about countouts. They might bring weapons into play, and it's at Rollins' discretion whether or not he disqualifies people. So basically, it sounds to me like their way of making it no DQ, no countout without calling it a no DQ, no countout match. We're not getting a clean finish. And I think that it's going to be Punk who ends up inadvertently being screwed out of a win by Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre should win this match, and I believe that he will win this match. This is only the first, and I think he has to win here. And I think that would be the right move to make. But otherwise, given all the personalities involved, I mean, I'll tell you what, it certainly was not the segment that we got earlier this year on Raw with all these guys in the ring together. That was one of the best segments on WWE television all year. That's not what this was. Inside the Judgment Day Clubhouse, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Bálor, JD McDonough, and Carlito, they were surveying the damage that somebody did. Somebody wrecked their clubhouse. And Rhea suggested that Liv Morgan was the perpetrator and said that she would pay for it at SummerSlam. Damian Priest showed up and also assumed that Liv Morgan was responsible, and he said that he felt like he should be in Finn Balor's corner tonight during his main event match against Gunther. Bálor shot that down and said, look, I'll handle him. You guys clean up the clubhouse. Bálor hoped that they would take out Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And Priest said, look, we've already handled that. It's like going backwards here. Right? We already took care of those two. And Rhea agreed with him. Dominic suggested that Carlito handle Sami Zayn, and Carlito said that he would go talk to Adam Pearce.
I am the learning tree.
Hey, NWO Matt, thank you very much.
Guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the $12 super chat. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, Matt. Hope you had a great weekend. We had Otis and Tozawa taking on the Creed brothers, who were successful in their respective matches last night at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Brutus Creed coming out to Biggie by Ray Jr. is... that was not something I was expecting last night when I saw the clip. But there he was, coming out to that song. Otis took a hot tag coming out of the break. He was super over. The announcers mentioned that he only lives 45 minutes away from where they were tonight, or maybe he used to live 45 minutes away. I know he and Chad Gable are like neighbors. They basically live next to each other, and I don't know if Gable lives in Minnesota or if I thought he was in Florida maybe, but in any event, Otis is the hometown boy, so he was very over. Gable climbed up onto the apron to distract Otis and then dropped down when Otis took a swing at him. Otis put Julius Creed down, hit the Caterpillar. He went to the ropes. He got hit by Brutus, though, who climbed up on the ropes with him, but then Otis backdropped him into the ring. And he ended up taking out Gable with a punch. Creeds ended it with a double back suplex from the middle rope, and Julius pinned Otis. After the match was over, Gable and the Creeds, they were working Otis over when Maxine Dupree gets into the ring, right? Takes her shoes off, gets in the ring, and she jumps on Gable's back. So Gable shakes her off and then turns around, and now he sees her. And he starts talking shit, so she smacked him. And then before he could respond, because she's backed into the corner, and Maxine is, she's ready to fight, right? I don't know what she's going to do here, but she's ready to fight. The lights begin to go out for the entrance of the Wyatt Six. We've seen this before. The single piano key begins playing. Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, they make their way to the ring in their masks. When they climb up on the apron, they pull the masks off to reveal their identities. Nikki Cross, meanwhile, is behind Gable and the Creeds on the top rope. She comes diving off, takes out Gable with a crossbody. He rolls out to the floor. Gacy and Lumis, they put the Creeds down with stereo Uranagis, and then Gacy powerbombed Lumis onto the Creeds. And then when they got up, Rowan ran the ropes. He wiped them out with a running crossbody block. Gable was already halfway down the aisle. He was backing down the aisle. And then he must have had a cold chill come over him because he realized, I better turn around. And so Gable turned around and he saw, coming from the entranceway, you saw him in the light. You saw the shadow of Uncle Howdy. Gable ran away and Howdy laughed on stage. I was not expecting them to unmask there. So that was a nice surprise. Dexter Lumis has a new look. He's got long dreadlocks. He has a giant X painted on his forehead. But yes, I was not expecting them to pull the masks off in that spot. I figured that there was no way they were going to wrestle with those masks. I mean, Rowan wrestling in a fucking rabbit costume would have been ridiculous. Lumis with that big buzzard mask. Howdy, though, Howdy has a mask fitted for his face where, Bo Dallas can wrestle with the mask. The other ones, you can't wrestle with that shit on your head. I mean, come on. We had Sheamus one-on-one with Bronson Reed. Sheamus's music, I know I say it every week. I'll just make one more comment about it and be done with this. Sheamus's music is so generically awful that I don't want him to win the Intercontinental title until he changes it. Because that's the eventual story for him, right? The one championship he's always wanted to win that he's never won before. And it's going to be a great moment one day when it eventually happens, and it'll mean something to him. But I don't want him to win. I don't want him to win anything, to be honest with you, until he gets that awful music check. Can you imagine Sheamus going to WrestleMania next year and winning the Intercontinental Championship finally for the first time, and then celebrating to that fucking music? I don't want to see that. So until such time that they finally give Sheamus some new music, I have pulled out my trusty voodoo doll, who makes very rare appearances here on the stream. Maybe once or twice a year at most is when we see the voodoo doll. But I am hereby pulling out the pin, okay? Here's the pin, and I am sticking the pin in the voodoo doll. I put a voodoo curse on Sheamus. He will win nothing. Nothing until his music is changed. Bring back Lobster Head. In the meantime, he's cursed. Sheamus hit a white noise off the middle rope for a near fall. He did the 10 beats, but it was 16 beats to the chest before the referee pulled him away. So when the referee pulled him away, Sheamus went off, into the corner. And he's playing to the crowd. Reed's leg is quote-unquote stuck in the ropes. And the referee is fumbling around, trying to pretend like he's freeing Bronson Reed from the ropes while Sheamus is in the corner. The point of all of this is the referee's attention is diverted. His back is turned. And Sheamus is in the corner and he starts setting up for the brogue kick. Now, I think Bronson Reed's foot was supposed to be trapped in the ropes, but it wasn't, unfortunately. And so it looked completely ridiculous because the referee is, oh, let me free you, right? I mean, he's free. You don't have to do anything. He's clearly free from the ropes, but the referee has to pretend that he's not because the spot is that Pete Dunne is going to get up on the ring apron with a shillelagh and he's going to whack Sheamus in the head with it, which is what we're in the side of the neck. And that's what he did. And then Bronson Reed finally gets back to his feet and goes up to the top rope, delivers the tsunami splash, and wins the match. Sheamus against Pete Dunne is going to be fun when it finally happens. I don't know when, but it will happen soon. I'm looking forward to that match. Unfortunately, that spot was ridiculous. Just the way it looked was preposterous. I should put a curse on Def Rebel, is what people are telling me. See, Fire Panda has a point, though. Fire Panda says Def Rebel does not need a voodoo doll to be cursed. See, that's true. It's like putting a curse on a curse. I mean, it would kind of defeat the purpose. I hate to do it. Again, I hate to do it. I like Sheamus, and it's not his fault, but he's cursed until he gets new music. That's just the way it is.
I am the learning tree.
Hey, Oz and Glorious, drop it a learning
Thanks,
tree.
guys.
The $12 super chat. How old is the voodoo doll? This voodoo doll here, I picked this up on my trip to New Orleans for WrestleMania 30. So this voodoo doll is 10 years old. It's a 10-year-old voodoo doll. But you know, voodoo dolls, they're timeless. So they'll live forever. This voodoo doll will outlast me. They had a really good pre-tape promo with Damian Priest. He said Gunther did not understand his upbringing. Gunther was brought up with, here you goes. If he needed the best training facility and training team, here you go. A group of people tell him how great he is, here you go. Gunther didn't have what couldn't be given to him. He did not have heart. Said Gunther may call him street trash, but to Damian Priest, that translated to Puerto Rican badass. Gunther was a product of European ingenuity, and that translated to you're an asshole. Said the ring would become the street at SummerSlam, and Gunther was going to get mugged. Priest said that he fought for everything he got, and he was willing to die for everything he had. It didn't happen in front of the live crowd, but this was the best promo that Damian Priest has cut since becoming World Heavyweight Champion. This was very good. We had Jey Uso, one-on-one with Carlito. This should have been a glorified squash match for Jey Uso. And instead, we got a very boring 8-minute match. Carlito decided in the middle of this match, for some reason, to start eating his apple. I guess he got hungry. Maybe catering was running a little low. And so he grabs the apple and he takes a bite out of it. He's arguing with the referee about this. While all of this is going on, Jey Uso schoolboyed him for a 2 count. Then he speared him for a 3 count and picked up the win. And that's all there was to it. So hopefully Rikishi is happy that Jey Uso picked up a win on the show tonight. But we know Rikishi is not very happy, though, that his son is not going to Summer. You know what I realized, by the way? When I talked about the Rikishi story on the podcast yesterday and how upset he is that WWE, in his opinion, doesn't know what to do with Jey Uso and they're mistreating him and he's not on the SummerSlam card this weekend, which is a little weird. And he's going through all this stuff and how unhappy and frustrated he is and the bloodlines being held down and all this. And I'm thinking, you know, it didn't hit me when I was talking about it. His son is in the main event on Saturday. Solo Sikoa is challenging Cody Rhodes in the main event for the WWE title on that very show. I don't know that he said anything about that. Certainly not in the segment that I saw before he pulled the podcast down. It was all about Jey and how upset he is. And It hit me earlier, and people were leaving comments, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. He's got another son who's in the main event of the show. He should be happy. He's so worried about Yeet. Poor Solo Sikoa over here, the fucking redheaded stepchild of the family. He's like, Dad, you do realize I'm in the main event, right? Why won't he love me, man? Why don't he love me? Backstage, Jackie Redmond interviewed Zelina Vega in front of the Minnesota Wild locker room door. It's a very nice door. Double doors. She was holding her injured arm, called herself a threat. Doesn't look like much of a threat to me. Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoey Stark showed up. Sonya said that they should show Vega what a threat really is. And Vega threw hands. She got outnumbered very quickly, and Sonya and Zoey held Vega against the doors while Baszler booted Vega's elbow, which caused her to crumble to the floor in pain. Poor Solo. Poor Solo, man. The forgotten Oos. Telling you, man. So I could just picture Solo standing there like I thought he was making his father proud, finally. Right? He's challenging for the title in the main event of SummerSlam, which is what Jey did last year. And it's still not good enough. What does this man have to do to get over with his father? Kathy Kelly interviewed The Miz, who announced that he would be the host of SummerSlam because SummerSlam is in Cleveland. So he said that he would be the host of SummerSlam in his house of Cleveland. R-Truth showed up and was excited to hear that they brought back In Your House. And Miz tried to explain what he meant. No, it's not in your house. It's my house. He said, I thought you lived in California. He goes, no, well, I'm from Cleveland. And he's trying to explain this to R-Truth, who doesn't understand, because you see, in storyline, R-Truth is too stupid to understand. He's a little slow. This was supposed to be funny. This was just painfully bad. This was WWE. This was like when WWE would do those awful comedy segments every week that just were not funny, or they were funny to one man who isn't there anymore. This is just, these R-Truth segments are just, they're played out. It's over. Move on. Speaking of played out and time to move on, that brings us to Xavier Woods against Karrion Kross, which was the very next segment here. Now, Karrion Kross cut a promo in the ring before the match. Prior to this, when they came back from the break, they showed highlights from WWE's tour of Japan. They ran a couple of shows in Japan this past weekend. Bayley defended her women's championship against Meiko Satomura, who announced that she's going to be retiring, or the belief anyways that she's going to be retiring next year. I think is her 30-year in-ring anniversary, so her career is winding down. But the fans in Japan were treated to that match, and AJ Styles against Shinsuke Nakamura. So anyway, they were showing highlights from the tour. And apparently Kofi Kingston returned on that tour. So Kross said he heard that Kofi got re-injured on the tour. And he asked Xavier Woods if he really believes that that's the reason why Kofi isn't here tonight. He says Kofi isn't here tonight because the world doesn't revolve around him. This is all about Xavier Woods tonight. It's not about Kofi, and so therefore he doesn't care. That, plus he doesn't want to get caught dead in a hellhole like Minnesota. He also said he wanted to tell Kofi, he was hoping that Kofi would be there, so he would tell him that he should have retired after he lost the WWE title in 6 seconds. Actually, it was 8 seconds. Not to be too anal about it, but it was 8 seconds, not 6 seconds. But man, what a missed opportunity. Am I the only one sitting here thinking, like, what a missed opportunity this was? You had Karrion Kross. You put a microphone in Karrion Kross's hand the same night that Jesse Ventura is in the building, and you don't have him make reference to the Baja. What are we doing here? Like, Jesse is in the building. Nobody does a better Jesse Ventura impression that I've ever heard than Karrion Kross. I mean, Will Sasso's up there with him. But Karrion Kross does this amazing impression of Jesse Ventura. And you put a microphone in his hand the same night Jesse is in the venue and you don't have him mention the Baja or have Jesse come out and do a segment with the two of them. Like, that would have been entertaining. I was begging to be entertained on this show tonight. They had the chance to. It was right there. And they didn't do it. I can't believe it. So anyway, during this match, at one point, Kross yelled at Woods and called him the worst king of the ring of all time, which is not possible in a world where King Mabel once existed. Woods was making his comeback. Akam was on the outside. He gave him a cheap shot behind the referee's back. Woods ended up taking out Akam with a dive, and then he avoided a charge by Razar, who ran into the ring post. Kross dodged the diving elbow attempt by Xavier Woods and then hit the final prayer for the win. I have a prayer. Can we all get together and pray for the end of this program? That's my final prayer. This was a flat match with a flat finish, and this just continues to drag every single week. Now, the comment about Kofi being re-injured on the Japanese tour, I didn't take that as anything seriously because I don't think Kofi was injured to begin with. It was a storyline injury, as far as I know. So I don't think Kofi is actually injured, and I sure as hell hope not, because if he is, all that's going to do is drag this out even longer, and that's something that none of us need to see. We had another pre-taped promo. This one was pre-taped. It looked like out in the parking lot because you saw the trucks in the background. Either that or they taped it last week, because I don't think we saw Liv Morgan on the show other than this, and maybe she wasn't there. But it was a pre-taped promo with Liv Morgan outside the arena dumping photos of Dominic Mysterio into a burning trash can. And also t-shirts like the Rhea and Dom, Dirty Dom t-shirt, throwing it into the burning trash can. She said Dom was not a man, he was just Rhea Ripley's bitch. She regretted, and she had tears coming down her face. She says she regretted every tear that she has ever shed over him. She would complete her revenge tour when she beats Rhea Ripley and then leave Dominic with whatever is left of her. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Unless, of course, it's all just a ruse. We'll find out on Saturday. That's what I'm thinking. Sami Zayn, one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio. This was not for the Intercontinental title. Carlito and JD McDonough, they ran out. Dominic used the distraction to roll up Sami for a 2 count. Sami knocked Carlito and McDonough off the apron. Dominic used that distraction to drop kick him into the ropes. He went for a 619. He did not get it. Zayn hit a blue thunder bomb and had Dominic pinned, but the Judgment Day dove into the ring to break it up and attacked Sami for the disqualification. Did they actually think he was going to win with the blue thunder bomb? Did these people even watch the fucking show? I think I've seen Sami Zayn win 1 match with a blue thunder bomb. Maybe 2. In all the years he's been in WWE. I don't know what they had to dive into the ring for. They should have known better. The match wasn't going to end there. So they're putting the boots to Sami until Jey Uso runs out. Look at this. Another segment with Jey Uso, man. He's all over the show. Ran out to make the save. Jey wiped them all out with a dive, and then Braun Breaker from out of nowhere blasted Sami Zayn from behind. He went for a spear. Zayn booted him right in the face, which looked great. Sami went for a haluva kick. Braun bailed out of the ring. Sami turned his back, so Braun slid back into the ring to go after him. But when he got to his feet, Zayn saw him coming, kicked him again. Braun was supposed to go out over the top rope. He didn't make it. He was trying to throw himself out over the top rope. Sami was trying to get him over, and they were having a rough time. He was not going over that top rope, and so finally Sami shoved him out, and out he went. So yeah, that was rough. But again, just more of the same. We've already seen this over these last few weeks. There was a pre-taped Braun Breaker promo on this show. It was good. But as far as the interaction with these two, we've seen this already. How many weeks in a row are we going to see the same thing over and over again? That's what I mean. It's like they just kind of ran out of gas. It's like there's only so many things they could do short of a contract signing, right? It's like they didn't know what to do, and so we'll just run the same angle again. We got another Wyatt 6 therapy video, And they didn't even bother doing the VHS handoff this time. They just threw it to the latest VHS tape. I guess the truck already had it. And like the Nikki Cross one that we got, I guess that was last week, there wasn't much to it. These are just now meant to be creepy. And there's no substance to them. And that's not what I wanted to see when I saw that first video and I said, wow, this is good stuff here. So we had two of them with Bo Dallas. The one with Eric Rowan was actually kind of emotional, listening to him talk about the brothers that he's lost and how he was basically a lost soul. And so that was kind of deep. And I know that's, largely because Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan obviously had a close connection to Bray Wyatt for very different reasons. The other members of the group really don't, but still, I was hoping we would get more videos like that to just peel back some more layers to the characters and just get a little more insight into the how and the why and if there's a story behind each of them. And it's pretty clear to me that there isn't. We'll see if they do one for Joe Gacy, but there's just no substance there. It's just meant to be creepy, and there's just nothing to it. So here, this one was for Dexter Lumis. We heard Uncle Howdy off camera speaking. Look at what you've become. Tell Howdy, brother. Tell him. What should they do when the buzzards start circling? And we see Lumis, and he shouts, run. And that was it. So backstage live, Chad Gable is with the Creeds. Chad Gable is standing there with Adam Pearce as well. And he informs Adam Pearce, I know the identities of the Wyatt Six members. He name-dropped Eric Rowan and Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. No mention of Nikki Cross. Adam Pearce goes, yeah, I know. They're under contract. It's like, oh, okay. So Gable said, under contract. Well, that means that they can compete. So he challenged them to a 6-man tag team match on Raw next Monday, and Pearce made it official. So it is now official. No SummerSlam match for Uncle Howdy and Chad Gable. There was a thought that maybe they would announce something this week after Howdy dropped him with the Sister Abigail last week. I'm surprised, if only because I figured that they would want to do the Wyatt Six entrance. They would want to give them the big entrance treatment in the big stadium, at SummerSlam. So that's why I thought we would get a match for them, or for Howdy at least, on the show against Gable. But they've already got 7 matches. And 7 matches is enough for Triple H. And you know what? 7 matches is enough for me too. I don't need more than that. I'm fine with them saving some of these matches for TV. You know why? Because the show is 3 hours long. This show is 3 hours long. And tonight, I felt every bit of those 3 hours. So I don't have an issue with them holding some matches back, some big matches back, so we can get them on TV. Otherwise, what are we left with? We're going to be left with more shows like the one we got tonight. I don't want that. Got to give me some big matches. We got another pre-tape promo from the back with Rhea Ripley to respond to Liv Morgan. She was holding a single black rose. She said that Liv Morgan wants to break and burn things that don't belong to her. She said Morgan so badly wants to be the victim in her revenge tour fantasy. She said that she warned Liv multiple times to stay out of her business, which is why she injured Liv's shoulder last year. She said Liv took 3 months of her career by injuring her shoulder and then took her championship. She said Liv tried to manipulate her family, and she will get her revenge at SummerSlam. Okay, then. Sonya Deville, Zoey Stark, and Shayna Baszler against Lyra, Valkyria, Kayden Carter, and Katana Chance. All you need to know here is that Zoey Stark hit Katana with the Z360 and pinned her to win the match. Fans did not seem to care much about this, and after the match, when Damage Control showed up, and the announcers talked about they're back, I thought to myself, when did they leave? How long have they been gone for? A week? What do you mean they're back? You made it sound like they've been gone since WrestleMania. When Roman Reigns comes back on Saturday, you could say he's back. Damage Control? The fuck did they leave? And nobody cared about them either when they came out. No reaction for Damage Control. And part of the problem is, I don't think the fans know what Damage Control is supposed to be. There was never any kind of turn. They're heels. But it seems to me like they want them now to come across as baby faces. But what have they done to get the people to cheer for them? Like, I think a lot of fans naturally like Io Sky. So sometimes when Io is out there, she'll get cheered anyway. But like, Damage Control never did anything to suddenly become baby faces. So they get this very like tepid reaction when they come out. Nobody gave a shit when they came out tonight. They tried to make it sound like some big return. They came out. Io Sky, Kairi Sane, Dakota Kai, they quickly cleared the heels from the ring. Io went up top, hit a moonsault onto all three of them on the floor. She came right down with her foot on top of Sonya's head. It's like, geez. After this, in the back, Kathy Kelly interviewed Damage Control. Io and Kairi said something in Japanese. Dakota said the Damage Control was back. Okay. Again, they're back. Kevin Duns Beaver says back from catering. They're back, everybody. She said they're back. And they're here to reestablish some order, and she challenged Sonya Deville to a match on Raw next week so she could cut the head off the snake. Okay, all right, there you go. Welcome back. Footage aired from earlier in the day of Gunther up in the stands, pacing back and forth in the empty arena, cutting a promo on Damian Priest. He said Priest took the easy way out for the second time in a row, and said that he had the reaction last week of a weak man who has no self-control, no control over his emotions. He said he has exposed Damian Priest as an emotional wannabe who abuses the business as a cure for his childhood trauma. Gunther turned his focus to tonight's main event and said he used to look up to Finn Bálor. He said Bálor right now is a tag team champion, but he was once destined for greater things. He said Bálor became street trash once he started hanging out with the Judgment Day. And he looked forward to seeing how much of the old Finn Bálor he could pull out. The fans will never forget the day that he saved the sport by winning the World Heavyweight Championship. In the Judgment Day clubhouse, we went back. Ripley told Finn Bálor that they would have his back if he needed them during his match with Gunther. Damian Priest agreed with that. Bálor said, look, Rhea Ripley, right? Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, both of you want to go it alone at SummerSlam. So he feels he has to do the same thing here tonight. But he wondered if maybe they don't think he's good enough to handle Gunther. They said, no, that's not what it is at all. Priest said he was just worried that Gunther would try something, and Bálor said he would soften him up, and it was Damian's job to finish him off at SummerSlam. And 4 years later, we finally got Finn Bálor and Walter for the first time ever in the ring together. It was in Minnesota. It was not in Dublin. So not quite the crowd reaction that they would have gotten had they had that match 4 years ago. What a fucking missed opportunity, man. What an atmosphere it would have been. Finn Bálor coming to Dublin, wrestling Walter. I think that was going to be for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. And we never got it. But we got it in Minnesota tonight in front of a crowd that did not deserve it. They went to a break, 90 seconds in. That's their usual formula. Bálor tried fighting back with chops. Gunther chopped him down, applied a Boston Crab, which he's won matches with before. Bálor got to the ropes. Late in the match, they exchanged chops and strikes until Bálor hit a sling blade. Then he hit a pair of standing double foot stomps. He hit a double foot stomp to the back. And then he hit a shotgun drop kick. Gunther avoided the double stomp off the top, and he applied a sleeper hold. Bálor would not go out, though, so Gunther hit a power bomb and then got a 2 count out of it. Gunther again applies the sleeper hold, and Bálor eventually goes out, and the referee calls for the bell. Gunther is your winner heading into his championship match at SummerSlam. But when the match is over, he reapplies the sleeper hold, and the referee is trying to get him off. Finally, Damian Priest runs out for the save. He's swinging wildly. He's throwing haymakers. He throws Gunther over the announce desk. He's pummeling him on top of the announce desk. And he was just throwing him around and throwing shots as they went off the air. Probably a good sign for those of you who want Gunther to walk out of SummerSlam as the World Heavyweight Champion, the fact that when we left him tonight, he was getting his ass kicked by Damian Priest. Whether it's SummerSlam or whether it's Berlin, Damian Priest, I guarantee you, is not getting out of the month of August with that World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think he's getting out of Cleveland with the World Heavyweight Championship. I think he goes down this Saturday. For all the talk about Damian Priest wanting to go it alone, Gunther beating Finn Bálor tonight and then doing what he did when the match was over and reapplying the sleeper hold, kind of adding insult to injury, that could give Finn Bálor a reason to get involved in this match. Even though Priest said, I want to go it alone, it could give him a reason to come out and get involved in that match on Saturday. And it ends up costing Priest the title. Could very well go down that way. Now, there's an alternative scenario where maybe Bálor gets involved and he costs Gunther the title. Some kind of a disqualification finish. Gunther's not happy with him. Priest is not happy with him. But he lives to fight another day as the World Heavyweight Champion, and we end up somehow with a triple threat match in Berlin, and you save the Gunther title win for Berlin instead of him going in there as the defending champion. I'm of the mindset that he'll be going in as the defending champion, but again, maybe they push it off until then. We get a triple threat match, which would not be a bad match. As a first time ever match here tonight with these two, I enjoyed it. Not nearly as much as I would have if they had more time, no commercials, a better crowd, better atmosphere for it. These two absolutely need to have a PLE match one day, whether it's a singles match or a triple threat match. They need to have time to go out there on a bigger show, have more time, and really just let loose and don't hold back and let the focus be more on them. Because again, this wasn't about Gunther and Finn Bálor. The story is Gunther and Damian Priest, and Finn Bálor was just out there as a member of the Judgment Day. So it never felt like that was even really the focus of this main event tonight. Hopefully when it happens again, if we get a one-on-one match between them, maybe next year at some point, Bálor maybe he'll be a babyface again at that point, and he'll be challenging Gunther for Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship. That I would like to see. So, good stuff here, but nothing more than that. Everything else on this show is just very paint by numbers. As I said at the very beginning, it was just filler to get us to SummerSlam, which I cannot wait for just because I'm just ready for SummerSlam. I'm ready to get these matches done. I'm ready to get these stories forwarded so we can get to the next chapter and we can move on to the next story, or the next phase of these stories. With the bloodline, get Roman Reigns back. Let's move to the next phase of the story so we don't get constant beatdowns every single week for another month. Rhea and Liv. Let's find out where Dominic stands and what happens with him on Saturday. Does he betray Rhea Ripley, as I think he will? That will certainly take that story in another direction. I expect Liv Morgan is not losing that World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. This has been building since January. Seth Rollins is involved. We know he's going to factor into the finish. Depending on who gets fucked over in the end, and it should be Punk, that throws another wrinkle into things, and we'll see what the match ends up being in Berlin. Because I think the end game here is McIntyre and Punk inside the cell. But that's in October. What do we do to get there? How are we getting there? Bayley, Nia Jax. WWE Women's Championship. I talked about that on the podcast as well and what I think is going to go down there. Tiffany Stratton, is she going to cash in Money in the Bank? If so, is it going to be successful? LA Knight and Logan Paul. I don't think we're getting a U.S. title change. A lot of people think that we're going to get one. I think I'm in the minority on that. Is this finally going to be LA Knight's time? Is he finally going to get a title here on the main roster? All right, there's a lot going on this show, but the number one thing when that show is over on Saturday that I expect to be the dominant story, the dominant takeaway from the show, it's going to drown everything else out, is going to be the return of Roman Reigns. I expect that to be the biggest thing on the show. I don't expect it until the very end of the show. It may literally just be his music. He comes out, he stares, and that's it. But I think that will be the parting image that we get at the end of the show on Saturday. And who knows, maybe he does, have a little tussle with Solo Sikoa. Maybe the final shot is of Roman and Cody. Not that we're necessarily going to get a rematch between them right now, but, kind of a look between them. But that's how I expect that show to close on Saturday. So I am looking forward to SummerSlam. I don't want to make it sound like I'm not looking forward to it. I am. But man, this was a tough show to sit through tonight. What did you think of the Raw before SummerSlam? 67% thumbs up, 33% thumbs down from you guys. You can vote at Solomonster on Twitter. Hey, Mohammed in the chat says, happy Monday on a late Monday night. I hope you're doing well. And same with everyone here in the chat. That's very kind of you, Mohammed. I hope you are doing well also. I am doing great. That's it. There you go. Short and sweet. You can tell, not the most exciting episode of Raw tonight. But let's get to your super chats here. And again, keep hitting that like button. We're a ways off of our goal. This may not be a Be the Booker night. It's not looking good. Not looking good. All right, shout out to my boy, the real CS02. Dropping a pair of super chats. Had trouble at first listening to the podcast last night. Apparently he had internet issues. Well, I'm glad that your internet issues have been worked out, and I hope you got the podcast downloaded and listened to. So I covered a lot of stuff. Smoking Dried Chicken with the $5 says, please send Sonya Deville to NXT. Needs new material. I just hope she didn't get her bell rung when Io came down on that moonsault. My cat is a demon. I know I'm in the minority. I'm dreading a long Gunther title reign. I cannot stand him. I acknowledge that he is great in the ring, but his entire character is just change the channel, go away with me. I don't think that our cat friend here is going to be very happy for the next several months. Because whether you like it or not, he's going to end up with that World Heavyweight Championship. I'm not expecting him, though, to have a run like he had with the Intercontinental title. Like, I could see him winning it on Saturday and dropping it at WrestleMania. I don't think we're going to necessarily get a year or a year and a half. I don't think we have to. But do I think he's going to win and hold on to it for many months? Yes, I do. I don't think there's really a whole hell of a lot you're going to be able to do about it. So you better get used to it. Smoking Dried Chicken says, I wish Carmelo Hayes and Jey Uso were feuding on Raw. Melo versus Yeet would be exciting. Hashtag trade Melo to Raw. They could do trades with the GMs anytime they want to. I would like to see some trades throughout the year. Spread them out a little bit. But Carmelo Hayes to Raw? I don't know that they want Hayes and Braun Breaker on the same brand. I think that could be part of it. I think they want to keep them separated. He also says WWE needs Roman, The Rock, and Becky Lynch back. Well, they definitely need Roman Reigns back. I'll agree with that. Prince Vegeta 95. I hope after this feud with Punk is over, they keep McIntyre in a good spot and a decent WrestleMania feud. And not another former WWE champion that's forgotten about like Bobby Lashley last year. Drew McIntyre has put the work in, man. He is doing the best work of his career, and if they can't find something for him to do coming out of the Punk feud, then they're doing something wrong. And they don't deserve him. So I agree. I hope they've got something good for him because he's great and should not be on the back burner doing nothing. NWO Matt says, Solo, the learning tree is here to teach you about the true meaning of life. No, I think I'm good. Matt, thank you. Smoking Joe. Smoking Dried Chicken. Raw tonight is like eating a burger without cheese. I eat all my burgers without cheese. What is that supposed to mean? No, it would be like eating a burger without the bun. That's like the new thing now. People, no bun. Really? Yeah, no bun. I'll have my hot dog without the bun. I'll have my burger without the bun. Unless there's like a medical reason for you not to have the bun. What the fuck are you doing? You have a burger on a bun. You don't put it on a plate and cut it up into little pieces. Jerome Eugenio. With nothing on the line for Seth Rollins, he can just screw over both men to set up a triple threat match. That's true, and I think it was a mistake, honestly, for them not to acknowledge that there was either some sort of edict that was put upon him by Adam Pearce, or that Adam Pearce maybe promised him something as long as he called the match right down the middle. I think that he should have done that. And now it's just like, nope, he made me the referee and I could just do whatever the hell I want. I mean, what sense does that make? If Adam Pearce is calling the shots, would it not have made more sense for Seth Rollins to say, okay, you want me to be the referee? I'll volunteer on one condition. I get a World Heavyweight Championship match coming out of this. And Adam Pearce could say, all right, sure, you got your match. Because, in a way, if you go back to Money in the Bank, it's not like Rollins lost fair and square, right? He kind of got dicked out of a world title in a way. But no, they didn't do anything like that, and I think that was a mistake. We got Aldous Dick and Balls is joining us tonight. Ahmed Johnson should be the next WWE champion. I might agree with you, but, Ahmed Johnson... I remember when he would have the microphone in his face and he would be cutting those promos and I didn't understand a fucking thing he used to say. But man, he was very intense when he said it. You knew he meant business. I just couldn't understand what he was saying. Oz and Gloria says, hi Solo Branch. I enjoyed watching Cringe Master Punk have his well-deserved Jeb Bush Vance please clap moment on socials. Phil on his best behavior as a Grateful Fed employee, isn't it? Thanks, guys. Well, it's the PG Punk. That's what we're getting on TV now, PG Punk. It was kind of embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. That first time when he mentioned that the fans have been chanting my name for the last 10 years, and he took a pause, and you have like a handful of fans in the crowd. CM Punk. It's like I don't think that's the reaction that he was hoping for. Smoking Dried Chicken. I hate to say it, but Liv Morgan is more fun than Rhea Ripley when it comes to the Judgment Day segments. Well, because Rhea is always, she's like your mother, like, clean your room. Did you do your homework? Why are you hanging out with your friends? She's like the mother hen of the group. Liv Morgan is the one who's always... dressing in the Daisy Dukes and laughing and leaving you her room card, jumping your bones. What's not to love? Of course, Liv Morgan is more fun. Smoking Dried Chicken says, this dried chicken has a message for Triple H. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whatever is working, don't change it. I don't know what you're referring to there. Arabian Night, wow, no Wyatt 6 match at SummerSlam. I thought we would get at least one sort of tag or tag title match on a show with 7 singles matches. Tag division booking is shit. I said it yesterday. I said 3 tag team titles in this company. Women's tag titles, Raw tag titles, SmackDown tag titles. Not one tag team title match is ridiculous. It really is. It really is ridiculous. Prince Vegeta says Triple H should listen to Rikishi more. After all, he ran over Steve Austin for it. He did, I guess, didn't he? He did. Hoffenheim, Blue Thunder Bomb is a cool finisher. It is. I wish he would use it to finish off some of his matches with, but they've established that it's just a setup move. Doesn't mean anything. Devin from New Jersey, better special guest referee, Shawn Michaels or Steve Austin? Steve Austin. I mean, Shawn Michaels as the special referee, the two main times I remember was SmackDown, and he fucked over The Rock, and then Judgment Day in the Iron Man match, where he made a terrible call and cost The Rock the WWE So basically, when Shawn Michaels was the referee, he just kind of existed there to screw over The Rock, and he did a terrible job. SummerSlam 97, he called it right down the middle until the finish, and then he hit the wrong guy in the head with a chair. Shawn Michaels was a terrible special guest referee. Awful. Horrendous. Remember what he did to poor Rob Conway? Right? Wasn't Shawn a referee for that match on Raw? The whole May 19th storyline? And he put the shirt on Rob Conway that had May 19th written all over it? I mean, Shawn Michaels is a terrible referee. Steve Austin, at least he stunned people. So I'm going to go Steve Austin. I don't know how to pronounce that. I was going to say plumber. The Magic Plumber. We'll call him the Magic Plumber. Says, Solo, I love you. I need that Jacob Fatu drop. You see the Jacob Fatu tweet earlier? Isaac Petrowski. WWE Vault should upload Dean Malenko against Mystico. You know, if you're not aware, WWE has a second YouTube channel that popped up a few months ago called WWE Vault. And it's just a bunch of old matches, and they mix in some rare stuff too. And it's just the most random stuff. I mean, I think they had some Dragon Gate or like Dragon Gate USA stuff they posted once. Today was interesting because they had CM Punk introduce the video. They found a dark match in the vault from 2003. And it was a tryout match. And it was CM Punk and some other jabron taking on the Road Warriors. So if you ever wanted to see CM Punk wrestle the Road Warriors in a WWE ring, you can go on that YouTube channel and watch it. It's like a 6-minute video. And really, it was a tryout match for both teams, which is wild to think that you would need to, the Road Warriors would need to have a tryout match. They had a tryout match on Raw the night before. That's when they wrestled RVD and Kane, I think. Unless my timeline is off, I think that was the match. And so I guess they brought them back the next night and they wrestled Punk and this other guy. I'm guessing it had more to do with Road Warrior Hawk, to see if Hawk was in the right, frame of mind to maybe bring them back, which they ended up not bringing them back. But yeah, it was just wild to see Punk in the ring wrestling LOD in a WWE ring. So, but they've got some cool stuff. I mean, look, I mentioned it, I think a few weeks ago. They uploaded 2 tryout dark matches that Takeshi Morishima had, I think back in 2008. So of course they gave him the fucking Orient Express music with the symbol, and then so he comes out, and it's like just watching Morishima in his prime in a WWE ring. And I think the second match they posted of his actually got a pretty good reaction from the crowd when he won, but it never went anywhere. And that was it. That was the last time he ever worked a match for them. But they've got some interesting stuff up on that channel. I've really been enjoying it. Hey, Dried Chicken, what's going on? I'm ready for Shawn Michaels cookout on NXT. Yeah, have fun with that. Is he going to be dancing again with Sexy Red? Trying to be cool? Trying to rope in that younger demographic? Nick Grasso. If Damian Priest loses at SummerSlam, will Finn Bálor costing him lead to a Priest and Bálor feud? I don't see how we don't end up with a Priest and Bálor feud. So, yeah, I would think it'll be another kind of link in the chain that gets us there. It may not get us there right away, but it's been building for a while now. Can they continue to build it and hold off until WrestleMania next year? and do Priest and Bálor at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. I don't know. They might be inclined to, though. Can't stand Sexy Red. I just made the comment. I don't know if she's been back or if last I saw of her, she got into a fight. I think the last NXT show she did was Battleground, right? In Vegas at the UFC Apex. And they didn't know, evidently, when she worked the show that I guess the day before she had gotten into some kind of a fight at the airport. There was security video that TMZ released. She got in like a brawl at the airport or something. I don't know. You never heard about Poppy having issues. You never heard about Poppy having run-ins with the law or beating people senseless in the middle of an airport. Why did they stop using Poppy? Gotta bring back Poppy. Poppy is a safe choice. Plus, we got Jelly Donut coming to SummerSlam. He's going to be performing on Saturday. He's going to be singing a song. So, or whatever, Jelly Bean. I said Jelly Donut. Kind of hungry right now. No, Jelly Bean is going to be at SummerSlam on Saturday. He's going to be the special guest performing on the show. Poppy rules. See, we got some Poppy fans here. Hashtag bring back Poppy. Marquand. Is the NXT parking lot safe again? No. No, it is not. It is the most dangerous place in the world. Is the NXT parking lot. All right. Before we get out of here, let's go ahead and we'll book some matches here. You guys just barely hit the goal tonight. So, did I enjoy Swerve against the Amazing Red? I loved it. It was great. And I got to be on the call for it. I got to call the AEW World Champion wrestling the Amazing Red on Friday night. 48 hours after Swerve led his team to victory in blood and guts, there he was. So yes, it was a very, very good match. If you missed it, you could pop over to Triller TV and watch it. It's great stuff. Is Damage Control in danger of growing stale? Are they in danger of growing stale? See, that would imply that they're not stale at the moment. Dude, I've had cereal that the expiration date is 9 months past due that was less stale than Damage Control. So it's not a matter of are they in danger of growing stale. The danger is if you eat them, will you get sick because of how stale they are? It's like bread that you keep out. 5 days later, you look, it's got blue spots all over it, green, right? Green bread. You're not going to eat that. Which begs the question, by the way, while we're on the subject. Be curious to get your feedback. Do you keep bread in the refrigerator or on the table? I've never refrigerated bread. I've just never done it. And I do have bread that will sometimes very quickly go stale and it'll get moldy. But I've had people say, like, putting it in the fridge, that's weird. But then other people say, no, of course you put it in the fridge, because it'll last longer that way. I've never done it. So you guys chime in and let me know. Ponder that question and get back to me. You guys let me know. In the meantime, let's be the booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the booker.
See, we're already getting a lot of divided opinion on this question. This is what I'm talking about. I can't seem to get, like, there's no real consensus about this. It's such a weird thing. I guess it's just a matter of personal taste, I guess. Half of you guys say the table, half of you guys say the fridge. I don't know. I may have to start putting it in the fridge, I guess. See if it lasts longer. You just keep it out. If it looks like it's getting bad, you throw it away. All right, tag team be the booker. We're going to begin. Oh, man. You know, I said his name before, and now I jinxed it. I mentioned King Mabel, and we end up with men on a mission. Mabel, Mo, and Oscar. They did have a badass rap, though, for WrestleMania 10. It's still stuck in my head, I will say. That was in 1994. And I still have that song stuck in my head. Men on a mission. Mom. Going to be taking on the New Age Outlaws of Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Maybe if they had a singing contest. But as a wrestling match, I have no interest in seeing that. So we move on. We move on to the ladies. Grant says, say his name and he appears. I believe in Mabel. I believe in Mabel. You son of a bitch. We begin with Chelsea Green. Here in Women's Be the Booker. Chelsea Green. Oh, Bret Hart. The perfect person to ask this question to in the chat. He says, I'm a baker solo, so listen to me and keep it in the fridge or in a place with not much exposure to air. Wow, so you're a baker. No wonder you're called Bret Hart. Now it makes sense. That's amazing. Well, there it is. That's it right there. He's a baker and he says keep it in the fridge. I guess that's what we're going to be doing from now on. Thank you, Bret Hart. See? Bret Hart coming through with the answer. Chelsea Green against Lana. Man, this is just not our night. This is just not our night tonight. Sometimes you have some winners and sometimes you have some losers. Tonight, unfortunately, feels like the latter. What an awful match. All right. Men's Be the Bookers, main event time. It all comes down to this. And we have landed on triple threat. So we are going to book ourselves a triple threat match. All right. 3 times. Here we go. We're picking 3 superstars here in our main event. Superstar number 1 is The Rock. Finally, we're turning things around. We've got The Rock. Not just The Rock, that's Hollywood Rock right there. That's Hollywood Rock from 2003. We only got 2 months of Hollywood Rock. That was not enough. All right, Hollywood Rock is 1. Oh, man. The Giant Gonzalez. The Giant Gonzalez in the main event. This would be an automatic buzzer if it was a singles match, but because it is a triple threat match, you could have The Rock and the other person just take him out at the beginning of the match, and he could lay on the floor outside. Or maybe you could handcuff him to the ropes. So this could be salvaged here. All right, we're not done yet. It's not a total lost cause. All right, we could salvage this. The Rock, Giant Gonzalez, and Miro in the main event. We actually landed on Miro and Lana in the same night in Be the Booker. You know, I really thought we were going to be able to save it. We needed a big name. We needed a big star. And I really thought that we could salvage this. And we didn't. Miro, who has spent more time outside of the ring while under contract to AEW than actually in the ring. I've lost total interest. Which is too bad, because he had a good thing going there for a while when he was the TNT champion, and I just don't know what happened. I really don't. I don't know where it all went wrong with him. Oz and Gloria says, use a bread box. Yeah, I don't have one. I don't have a bread box. Smoke and Dried Chicken says, what are your thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. taking the role of Dr. Doom? I mentioned that at the top of the show yesterday. I said that it was a very wrestling-esque way of introducing him at Comic-Con. Big reveal, right? You bring out the Coens, and then you bring him out. He's in the mask, pulls the mask off. Everybody goes crazy. They made you think they were only going to talk about, what was it, three movies that I think you already basically knew about. They had already announced. And it was like, oh, what a lame panel, right? Then they reveal the name of the next two Avengers movies, and then Doctor Doom is revealed, and it's like, wow, they swerved everybody. So I think it was cool the way they handled the reveal, but I just think it's fucking weird that you're going to have Iron Man playing Doctor Doom. Mark Kwan says, Lana against Chelsea, tables, ladders, and chairs match. Who will conquer their fear? Not me. I'm too afraid to want to see that match. I think I'll pass. They could have recast Kang. Yeah, you know, Jonathan Majors, man, that he really fucked everything up, didn't he? What a shame. What a shame. But, you know, it'll be another Marvel movie that'll make $1 billion, so everybody is happy. Heel Robert Downey Jr. I always say that WWE crowds are quiet these days. I think the problem is everyone is always on their phones. Really. So then how do you explain the hot crowds when they have a hot crowd? Are they not on their phones? Can't blame smartphones. Yes, everybody has their face buried in their phone. That is true. But you cannot use that as an excuse when a crowd is quiet. You're either not giving them an exciting show, or you're giving them a good show, and for whatever reason, they just aren't reacting. Some crowds are notoriously bad crowds, depending on the city, depending on the venue. That was the rap for a very long time here in New York on the Nassau Coliseum. You know, that's why I call Corpus Christi Corpses Christi. Right? They've had a few shows where they've redeemed themselves recently, but there were a lot of shows when they would go to Corpus Christi, you knew that it was going to be super fucking quiet. Why? Don't know. Just the way it is. You go to Chicago, you almost always have a loud, like rabid crowd. The Canadian crowds are great. UK crowds are great. You know, but the international ones, you can kind of explain it because they don't get big events very often. So when they do, it really is like a big event to them. And people pay top dollar to go there, and, you know, they're going to do their soccer chants, and they're going to be full of energy, and you kind of expect it. But no, I would not be saying smartphones are the reason why the crowds are quiet. That's a cop-out excuse. Sonny says Tex ass. I don't know. It's like a Corpus Christi thing. I mean, usually when they go to like Houston or Dallas, I don't think they really have issues there, like crowd problems there usually. Honda Center has a good crowd. That's in California, right? I'm not talking about that top dollar. That's top dollar. Talking about top dollar. Will I be attending WrestleMania in Las Vegas next year? Right now, no plans. Could always change, but I will probably be here. I probably should, though, in all honesty. I've not taken a proper vacation since that Jericho cruise right before COVID hit. I mean, I was in Tampa for the Royal Rumble this year, and that was fun, but again, also I was doing a lot of work. I didn't really look at it as a vacation, you know? I need a vacation. When is the beard coming back? When was it ever there? Oh, well, I guess 4 years ago, right? No plans to bring it back. It itches too much. Vegas misses you. I miss Vegas too. I always had fun. I've only been to Vegas twice. I had fun both times. Vegas and New Orleans, man. My two favorite places. I need to go somewhere tropical, though. I need to go somewhere where I don't think about wrestling, which is just impossible. I always have to be plugged in and working. I just need to go on a real vacation. I need some place where I can go in the water. I love swimming. I haven't gone swimming in fucking 4.5 years. I need to get away. How's the glass in the knee? It's doing all right. It's doing all right. I still can't kneel down on the knee, though, without being in pain. I think that's just because of how thin the skin is there on the knee. Unfortunately, that has not gone away. It's so weird, too. Like, if I were to get on my knees, like, in bed, if there was something on the wall, you know, I wanted to take a picture off the wall, and I just got on my knees in bed, even on a mattress. You know, I can't be on that knee for more than a few seconds without it just killing me. I just think it has to do with the skin. Did I see Deadpool and Wolverine? I did not. Now, the next time I go to the movies will be in September. That'll be when Beetlejuice comes out. Smoking dried chicken, burgers, hot dogs, ribs, and pork at the Great American Bash on NXT. HBK Cookout Baby with Joe Hendry. We got Joe Hendry coming to House of Glory the end of September. That's right, Joe Hendry in concert tomorrow night. You know what else is tomorrow night? TNT. That's where I'll be. Trying to see Deadpool and Wolverine tomorrow. Alien Romulus. Darth Panic is excited for that. I did see the trailer. That looks interesting. Oh, Abu Sika is with us. Abu Sika says, come to Nakasongola. Drinks on me. That sounds very far away. I'm not a fan of long flights. How long of a trip is that from New York? That sounds very, very far. How much longer is the Saudi deal? They are halfway through. It was a 10-year deal. They signed it in 2018. So do the math. And I'm sure it'll be extended. I'm sure WrestleMania is going to be there at some point. You think the UK is going to bid on WrestleMania and the Saudis are not? You're out of your mind. Julia making an announcement on the July 30th Marigold event. That is tomorrow, and it is expected that she will be announcing when her final Marigold date will be. And or her NXT start date. So Julia's time in Japan is coming to an end. All pro sports are scripted. Says, I come home from my vacation tomorrow. Well, I hope it was a good vacation. Abu Sika says Uganda. Yeah, that's very far. Maybe, though. Maybe one day. But that does sound very far. Are there any plans for Hog in Vegas for WrestleMania weekend? Possibly. We're working on that to figure it out. If Hog runs Vegas WrestleMania week or weekend, I may have to go out there. We'll see. Hog is running Vegas actually on August 17th. I will not be there, but we are running our first Las Vegas event in partnership with one of the local promotions. That's on Saturday, August 17th. So if you are in the Vegas area, again, I will not be there, but definitely check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Sweet Saudi Mania. Oh, it's coming. You think all these people bidding on WrestleMania and that the Saudis are not going to throw a metric fuck ton of money at WWE to bring WrestleMania there? That they would say no? That TKO would say no to that? Come to Chile. From north to south, the country is a giant beach. Been to Costa Rica. I've been waterfall rappelling in Costa Rica. That was something. that was definitely something. That was a very long time ago. That was 14 years ago. But I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to Cancun. I've been to Colombia, obviously. I've been to a few places. It's just it's been a very long time. When is Hog running California? Don't know. No plans right now. We got Chicago, though. I'll be in Chicago. Only for a day, but I'll be in Chicago on September 5th. I'm looking forward to that. Oz and Glorious says, I would road trip to Vegas to kick it with you solo. Yeah, we'd have to get a little something going on there for the Sound Off fans, but right now, at this moment, no plans yet. Are all the women... Okay, so this is a question from Oz directed towards Bret Hart. Are all the women in Chile as hot as Stephanie Vicaire? I will let him answer that since I have no idea. Probably not. Probably not. Am I doing the podcast until I am 90? No. WWE taking $2.5 billion for WrestleMania Saudi. Telling you, it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point. London will get it first. I think Nashville is probably going to get it in 2027. But by 2028, 2029, I think we'll get a Saudi WrestleMania. Remember the kickboxing movie? They put glass on the knees and elbows. What kickboxing movie? Not talking about Kickboxer, are you? Haven't seen that in years. If you do go to Vegas, visit Nightmare Toys. If you love horror movies, then you will love Nightmare Toys. Where is Nightmare Toy? I mean, when I was in Vegas, I went to the Fight Shop, and the Las Vegas Fight Shop actually had some pretty cool wrestling stuff in there, like some old school wrestling stuff. I remember I took pictures of it. They had an unopened box of like some old WCW action figures from like the early 90s that had Brian Pillman. It was like a little figure, and Brian Pillman, my God, with the hair, he looked like Fabulous Moolah. I couldn't tell if it was Moolah or Brian Pillman. And so you know that that's bad if you can't tell Brian Pillman apart from Fabulous Moolah. But I think that was one of the bootleg figures they had. They had a lot of those in Mexico when I went too. Because I had to go to a shop in Mexico. I wanted to buy a lucha mask. So I bought a mask. But they had a lot of cool items down there too. In Cancun. Bread says, yes, mostly. Guess I'm moving to Chile, says Oz and Glorious. Have fun. Have fun. Am I a fan of Hot Shot Part 2? I saw it once, many years ago. It was all right. Gummy bears or sprinkles? Gummy bears, red gummy bears. But I really don't eat that crap anymore. Bron, is there a time that you see yourself not doing this? Yes. Would I like to see a remake of the Halloween movies or just leave it alone? Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone for a while. Give it a few years, and then maybe there's something that can be done. I mean, I know that apparently there's a Friday the 13th, I think, TV series that is supposedly coming out. Maybe they could do something similar for Halloween. But see, I would hope for something maybe on like Netflix, you know? Like a mini series, 6 episodes or something. 4 episodes maybe. Do I see WrestleMania going to Latin America or Mexico? I do not. I do think that WWE will, in the not too distant future, have a PLE in Mexico, but not WrestleMania. Gaming Broadcast says, I want Jenna Ortega to save Halloween. Oh, she's in the Beetlejuice movie, actually. She's in the new Beetlejuice movie. Is it Jenna or Jenny? I thought it was Jenny Ortega. They did for Chucky, yeah. Chucky's got a TV series. Apparently it's very good. I haven't watched it, but it's got pretty good reviews. Rhea Ripley has to give Dom that Hawk Tua. That's what Liv Morgan wanted to do. Maybe she's been doing that with Finn Bálor. We just don't know yet. It's Jenna? Okay. Jenna Ortega. I thought it was Jenny for some reason. Okay. I stand corrected. She was good in the last Scream movie. Money Benny. What's your beef with Finn Bálor? Didn't know I had one. It's news to me. It's funny how people imagine these things in their heads. Sami Zayn has been advocating for a PLE here in Chile, but I don't want that. The thought of prices scares me. And Chilean fans love saying what? Oh, well, then you definitely can't have a show there. Fuck that. Fuck that. Oz and Glorious, Liv Morgan or Mariah May? Mariah May. I need a new Friday the 13th movie ASAP. Isn't that still stuck in like legal limbo or something? That's why we haven't gotten a new movie. I don't know that that's ever been resolved as far as the rights. to the movie? Toronto Hog. Thank you guys. Very illuminating discussion here. We do these little AMA rapid fire sometimes at the end of a stream where we have a boring television show to watch. We have to amuse ourselves. So I could always count on you guys for that. Nick Grosso with a super chat coming in. After the Japan tour, do you see WWE doing a Japan PLE in the future, maybe at the Tokyo Dome? I'd like to see it. I would like to see it. I'm sure Meltzer would give the main event 7 stars. But yeah, I think Japan will get a PLE at some... Again, I'm not saying WrestleMania, but I'm not even saying Tokyo Dome. But I think a Japan PLE, I think, is very possible. You know, look, they did that Peacock special. Was it Peacock at that point? No, it was the networks, though. They did that when they did that Beast in the East special. I think Brock wrestled Kofi Kingston on that show. Was it Baszler and Kevin Owens on that show also, I believe? That was a fun show. Cloverfield and Chronicle sequels would be nice. Well, I mean, supposedly there is a Cloverfield sequel that's been in development for a while. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard anything on it. I've been waiting years for that. Maybe one of these days we'll actually get it. Hog in Tokyo. Tokyo's on my bucket list of places to visit. I know I said I don't like long flights, but I would love to go to Tokyo. Hopefully one day. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will be back with you live. One final stream for the month of July. July 31st is Wednesday. We have the AEW Dynamite stream coming off Blood and Guts. So I hope you will join me for that on Wednesday night. And then, of course, back on Friday night for the SmackDown review. And on Saturday, it is SummerSlam. So you get me live on Monday, Tuesday on JD's channel. We're doing TNT tomorrow night. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, podcast on Sunday, Raw next Monday, TNT next Tuesday, and Dynamite next Wednesday. That's a lot of me. You're going to get a lot of me. So you better get used to it. Be well. Stay safe. Have yourselves a great night. I will see you guys for Tuesday Night Titans over on the other channel and then Dynamite on Wednesday night. Until then, take care, guys.